Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the online class. So today, in this session, we people are going to learn more than what we have learned in previous class. Yes, still we people are going to continue the lesson of political science, that is none other than public administration. Yes. So in previous class, you people have learned about the expand form of TOSD. Yes, and also CORB. So in this session we are going to learn about the types of training and the methods of recruitment. Yes, in previous session also you have learned the recruitments, the meaning of recruitments, and in this session you are going to learn the methods of recruitment along with the training, the types of training you are going to learn. Yes, so without wasting the time, let us move for the lesson. Yes, see, methods of recruitment. Yes, according to staff administration experts, there are two type of recruitment. According to the staff administration, yes, according to the staff administration, there are two type of recruitment. Yes, so which is the first one? The first one is direct recruitment or external recruitment. Direct, either external, means external. Yes, direct recruitment. Yes, for direct recruitment is also called as a internal recruitment. Yes, so the second type is internal recruitment. It is also called recruitment by promotion. Yes, direct recruitment is also called as external recruitment, and the second type of recruitment is internal recruitment, and it is also called the recruitment by promotion. Yes, these are the two types of recruitments. So let us learn about the first recruitment, that is none other than direct recruitment. Yes, so what is mean by the direct recruitment? Yes, so direct recruitment is the most popular and scientific method of recruitment. The direct recruitment is a most popular and the scientific method. It is a scientific method of recruitment. Yes, so recruitment eligible recruitment always select the eligible candidates through the competitive exams here. So yes, so this is only called direct recruitment. Okay, direct recruitment is also called the external recruitment. Yes, let me tell you once again what is mean by the direct recruitment. Yes, recruitment is a most popular and scientific method of the recruitment. Yes, not only not only this, along with that, recreating is a eligible method. Okay, according to the competitive examinations, they used to get the jobs. Who? Candidates. Okay, so recreating eligible candidates through competitive examinations in a fixed pattern is called direct recruitment. Yes, so now let's move for the type of recruitment, that is second type of recruitment, that is none other than internal recruitment or recruitment by promotions. Okay, see, what is mean by internal recruitment? Yes, selecting the eligible in service personnel to higher positions is called as internal recruitment. Yes, selecting the eligible candidate in service, that also to the personnel to higher positions. Okay, that is only called internal recruitment. Yes, doing a promotion, if we will get a higher position, that is only called internal recruitment. Yes, next, most of the countries have adopted this kind of method. Direct recruitment is by conducting a examination. By conducting examination, that is the one kind of recruitment, and another one recruitment is getting a higher positions. Okay, in services, that is also second type of method of the recruitment. Yes, method means a type of recruitment. Yes, but most of the countries have followed the internal recruitment method only. Yes, India too has adopted this method of recruitment. Each and every country is adopted this second type of internal recruitment. Yes, so let us know about, after knowing this recruitment, yesterday you people have learned about the meaning of recruitment. So today in this session you learn about the types of recruitment. Yes, so what is meaning by the training? After that, let us move for the training. What is training? However, you people know about the meaning of training. Training means tarabeti. Yes, next, see, the efficiency of civil service personnel depends on the quality of the training received. Training is a continuous process. Here, training will never be get stopped. Okay, training, it is a efficiency of civil service, that also personnel depends on the quality of the training received. Okay, the training, taking a training or giving a training is a one kind of a continuous process. Yes, the training process will never get stopped. Next, as the modern administrative functions are complex in nature, the personnel need to undergo undergo proper training to know and manage the administrative functions. Yes. Next, let us know the types of training. How many types are there in training? Okay, taking a training. Yes, the first type is formal and informal training. The first type of training is formal and informal training. Okay, and the second one is, however, you people are able to see on the desktop that I have mentioned two type of pictures. Yes, pre-service and post beginning of service training. Pre-service, for pre-service, B.Ed and D.Ed, M.Ed, M.P.Ed, B.P.Ed, these were the pre-services. Okay, and the second one is the post beginning of service training. Okay, after getting a job like IPS, IAS, yes, and PDF, and selecting as a constable, these all are after selecting a job or after getting a job, the government of that service gives us a training. Yes, so this is only called pre-service and post beginning of service training. Yes, and the third type of training is short term and long term training. Short term and long term training. Yes, and the fourth one is departmental and central institutes. Departmental and central institutes. However, you people are able to see on the desktop. Yes, and the fifth one, skill training and background training. Skill training means like ITI. Okay, after taking a training only, you people are able to get a job. That is skill training. Yes, background training means in cricket team. Okay, in like sports. Okay, take example of cricket only. Yes, before playing in ground, all the players of that cricket team, they will get a training. Yes, that is background training. Yes, so now how many types are there in training? 5 types of trainings you have learned now. So among them, the first one is formal and informal training, pre-service and post beginning of service training, and the third one is short term and long term training, and the fourth one departmental and central institutes, and the fifth one skill training and background training. These were the 5 type of trainings. Yes, next topic is that law and order. Do you know what is mean by the law and order? Yes, when you will get this video, write the meaning of law along with order. Yes, next. In order to ensure peace in country, the maintenance of law and order is of importance. Yes, if we want to develop in our country, to get a development in our country, we need to follow the law and orders. Yes, we need to maintain the law and orders in our country. Yes, under 7th schedule of the constitution, Under 7th schedule of the Constitution, the law and order are included under the state subject. Hence, it is the duty of state government to maintain law and order. Yes, the central government has the constitutional right to advise the state governments on the issues, yes, on the issues pertaining to law and order. Yes, the rule of central government. Okay, in our India there are two type of government: central government and state government. Central government, it is always belongs to the whole country, but the state government, it belongs to only that particular state only. Yes, next, as per the Article 355, as per the Article 355, the central government has to protect the states from external aggressions. Yes, as per the Article 355, central government has to protect the states from the external aggressions. Aggressions means, write the meaning of this aggression. What is meant by the aggression? Yes, the central home minister. The central home minister is different and our state home minister is different. Yes, the central home minister has paramilitary forces under its. Yes, next, command to ensure law and order in the country, like central armed service. Yes, central armed reserves, which is called as a CRPF, and second one is border security force, which is called as a BSF, and the third one is railway protection force, central industrial security force, means which is called as a CISF. These are the forces which is going to take, means which these four forces works under the control of central home minister. Yes, next one, let us know about the first force, that is none other than CRPF. CRPF means Central Armed Reserve. Yes, this force has the mandate to maintain law and order. Which one? CRPF. Okay, this force means nothing but this force means that is a Central Armed Reserve. Okay, that Central Armed Reserve only called as the CRPF. Okay, CRPF is the short form of Central Armed Reserves. Do you know who will maintain this one? The Central Home Minister will maintain the Central Armed Reserve. Yes. So let us know about Central Armed Reserve. Okay. This force means Central Armed Reserve has the mandate to maintain law and order. Okay. It is the duty to maintain the law and order in our country. Yes. Our country means our India. Okay. It tackles any rebellion or provides relief whenever there is natural calamity. Yes. Next one, the second one, which is also called BSF. BSF means Border Security Force. Yes, let me show you the emblems. Okay, emblems of the CRPF. Are you able to see that emblem? Okay, which is the downstairs of that definition. Yes, CRPF, that is the emblem of the central or symbol, some emblem or symbol. Okay, symbol of the Central Reserve Police Force, which is also comes in a Central Armed Service. Okay, arm means army force. Okay, army force. Arm is nothing and army is nothing, both were same. Okay, next one, BSF, Border Security Force. Okay, are you able to see the symbols of the BSF? Yes, yes, I hope. This force is formed to check criminal activities. BSF means which is allotted to check out the criminal activities in the border of our India. Yes, it policies the border to check illegal activities. Illegal activities means, I hope that you people will understood illegal activities. Yes, legal activities are different and illegal activities are different. Yes. Then next, policing the border. Policing the border and providing safety and security to the people living in the border areas are the main functions of border security force. You know which we used to call as a border security force. Yes, the second the second force, that is border security force, BSF. Yes, see. And the third one, let us move. The third one, railway protection force. Yes, both side I have mentioned the symbol of the railway protection force. Yes, so each and every force is having a different and their suitable symbol. Yes, see, railway protection force. Yes, it protects. It means railway protection force always protect the property of railways. Do you know which all are the properties of railway? Particularly that railway and that engine box and track. Yes, and the seats of that railway. These all were the properties of railways. Yes, and next, and junctions also are important properties of railways. Yes, next, it monitors the illegal activities in trains. Have you ever seen the trains? Most of the people, you already traveled by using this train faculty also. Yes, I hope that you all know about the train. Yes, now next one, the fourth one force is Central Industrial Security Force. Central Industrial Security Force, which is also called CISF. Okay, so now you are very clearly able to see the symbol of the CISF. Yes, so this force provides protection to various big industries of the central government. Yes, this force is also utilized to serve the airports. The same CIF always utilized to the industries of the central governments. Along with that, the same service is also utilized in airports also. Okay, that only called CISF. Yes, so up to here you people have learned. Okay, now let's learn about the role of police. What is the importance of the police in our state? Yes, let us know the structure of state police. Everybody know about the police, but what is the role of the police in our state? That we comes to know now. So let us learn the role of the police in our state. Yes, see, the primary role of the state governments is to ensure law and order in the state. Yes, they have to ensure the law and order in our state. Ensure means they have to protect the law and order, and they have to maintain it in the society or our state. Which is our state? Karnataka is our state, no? That only. Yes, the police department comes under the home minister. Yes, so earlier we have discussed that only. Yes, where we have discussed, see here, the role of central government in that. The second point is there, no? The central home minister always he maintains the 4 type of forces. Yes, so in that forces, along with those 4 forces, even that home minister used to control the police department also. Yes, next, the home minister has the responsibility of police force. Yes, now let us see the structure is as follows. Yes, how home minister used to work. Yes, let us know. The state police structure is as follows. When you will get this video, write points according to like this only. Okay, how I displayed on the desktop now, like that only you have to write. Understood? Next, the first one, home minister or home secretary. Both were same, home secretary or home minister. Okay, after him, who will come? Director General Police, who is called as a DGP. Okay, DGP means Director General Police, who is also called head of the police department. Okay, okay. After his control, Additional Director General of Police. Okay, ADGP. ADGP means Additional Director General of Police. Him also called Deputy Inspector General of Police. Okay, that also according to the divisional heads. Do you know how many divisions are there in our Karnataka? In your 6th standard, when you people are learning in 6th standard, that only where there only you have learned. Okay, next. So according to those divisions, the ADGP were appointed. Okay, this Additional Director General of Police is also called Deputy Inspector General of Police. Yes, so in his under control, Superintendent of Police used to work. Superintendent of Police means SP. Okay, in whose control? ADGP. He used to control the SP. SP means Superintendent of Police, who is the head of the District Police Administration. Yes. Okay. After SP, in SP's control, Deputy Superintendent of Police used to work. Okay, who is called DSP, means Deputy Superintendent of Police. Okay, who is the head of the divisional. Okay, next, under SP, CPI used to work, who is also called Circle Head. Under the SP, Circle Police Inspector used to work. Okay, whom we used to call as the Circle Inspector. Okay, means CPI, Circle Police Inspector, but most of the people used to call him as a Circle Inspector. Yes, under CPI, under the control of Circle Police Inspector, PSI used to work. PSI means Police Sub Inspector. PSI means Police Sub Inspector. Okay, under his control, Assistant Sub Inspector of Police used to work, which we used to call as a which we used to call ASI. ASI means Assistant Sub Inspector of Police. Yes, so under ASI, the head constable used to work, and under the head constable, police constable used to work. Okay, see, let us recall one by one once again. Okay, so we already learned this one from Home Minister onwards. We learn. Okay, under the control. We have seen like this, but now let us go for decreasing to increasing. Okay, police constable. He was the control of the head constable. Head constable works under the control of ASI, Assistant Sub Inspector of Police, and ASI works under the control of Police Sub Inspector, and he used to work the Circle Inspector, and he used to work under the control of Divisional Head, who is also called Deputy Superintendent of Police. Okay, that person used to work under the control of Superintendent of Police, and he used to work under the control of Additional Director General of Police, who is also called Deputy Inspector General of Police, and he used to controlled by the DGP, who is the head of the police department, and he always controlled by the Home Minister. Okay, Home Minister is always controlled by the state government and central government. Okay, in this way the state police structure were built in our state. So up to here you people have learned. So in the next session we'll learn, or we are going to discuss about the new lesson. So until then, take care of yourself.